Matt, guess who's been up all night recording 7 different versions of Far Cry 6 just so he could hit the embargo?
Was it me?
Was it you? I don't know. Was it you?
No, I think it was you, Dan, wasn't it?
I think it was me, yeah. So it took me like 14 hours. This is the worst game to do a comparison for because there's no manual saves, there's just auto-save, there's a day-night system, you can't fast-forward the clock, so absolute nightmare.
Oh, wow, okay. But you've got it, you've done it, and we're here to look at it.
We are. And first things first, let's rattle through the frame rate stuff. I say rattle because I don't think I dropped a single frame when I was capturing. So what we got is the PS4 and the Xbox One S, both of them solid 30.
I mean, it's pretty good stuff, yeah.
PS4 Pro, Xbox One X, solid 30.
Yep.
Obviously look better than the last gen counterparts. These are like the mid-gen refreshes.
This is the refresh, isn't it? And same frame rate, higher resolution, I'm guessing.
Yes, and there's this, of course, is the 3 next-gen consoles. I do next-gen in air quotations because the Series S, graphically, perhaps not next-gen, but rock solid 60.
I mean, yeah, that's quite impressive for the Series S, actually. I'm impressed there.
And you know what? It plays great.
Yeah.
So we'll start off with the swipe. This is the Series S. As you can see, it looks better than the Xbox One.
Yeah.
S version. Doesn't look as good as the One X, but obviously Series S is in 60 FPS.
Yeah, it's not aiming for 4K either, is it? It's to be expected.
The Series X looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
As well. You'll see the Series X alongside, obviously, the PS4. The PS4 is a little bit washed out, and I don't know whether that's the capture stuff or the console settings.
Pro does look more colourful, yeah.
It does, the PS5, I found it really hard to get the same weather. So it's a lot more cloudy in the PS5 footage. But if you look at the actual details, there isn't a lot between the PS5 and the Series X.
No.
If there is, I can't see it.
They both look pretty good, don't they? And I mean, they're both based off... It looks like this has been made for the old hardware and moved up rather than the other way around, doesn't it? No? Okay.
No. Because of the 60 FPS, I would say.
Okay.
That you get like a proper kind of next-gen experience because of the frame rates and the visuals are sharper. I mean, they're sharper. You can see them there. Like if you look at the PS5 compared to the Pro.
Yeah.
This time I switched it up as well. I did Xboxes versus Xboxes, PlayStations versus PlayStations, then like almost generations versus generations.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a huge difference there, is it? Again, a little bit more washed out on the PS4, but I can't tell if that's the weather or not.
No, and that's the thing. And I put the Series S in with the Pro and the Xbox One X because I feel like putting the Series S against the X and the PS5 isn't fair. So this is my
it is
solution.
A strange one, isn't it? Because it sort of stands by itself, but it is in that sort of, cost bracket now of those older refreshes and things like that. It's
and obviously, I mean, frame rate's obviously a lot quicker because of the SSD, but the visuals still not as sharp as the One X and the Pro.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can see an increase in foliage here, can't you, on the Series X? But only just like they've obviously not had to cut too much stuff for the older generation.
No, it's just a little bit, I would say, blurry and muddy on the PS4 and the Xbox One S, whereas the PS5 and the Series X super sharp. Whereas the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, they're sharp but only 30 FPS.
Yeah, that's the trade-off you're getting there, aren't you? You're getting the high resolution, but sticking to that sort of that last generation of 30 FPS.
Correct. Because look, as you can see here, the One X and the PS4 Pro actually look fantastic. The Series S doesn't look as good, but obviously you get the 60 FPS. But then when you go up a level, when we kick it up a notch, like you can see just how sharp it really is.
Yeah.
On the Xbox Series X and the PS5. And this is an open world game as well. These are I guess, the hardest ones to kind of get right across the board. But they seem to have done it, weirdly.
Yeah, it seems to be very consistent. I mean, again, a lot of foliage, a lot of things that normally cause, frame rates to stutter at times. It's going to have a lot of explosions and a lot of shooting. And if in your playtime that was, consistent 60 the entire time, then
the One X is actually quite gorgeous, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, the One X is still a powerful console, isn't it?
It is.
It's the most powerful thing we're getting out of that sort of last generation, proper hard drives, hard disk drives, and stuff like that. But it was always an impressive looking thing, and it often hit full 4K, didn't it? Where the PS4 Pro did not.
But the PS4 Pro looks good as well. But yeah, look, like the PS5, like things like the tree bark now.
Yeah.
Obviously the lighting hasn't helped here. It's so hard to get the right time of day and stuff like this as well.
Am I being weird, or is there more movement in the next gen ones as well? Like, is there more foliage movement?
I think there is, but also that I'm not sure whether that's down to the weather.
Oh, okay.
And the PS5 definitely had more of a stormy weather going on.
Got it.
But yeah, I mean, if you look at that now, the Series S does move quite a lot, and the PS4 moves quite a lot as well. So maybe it's just that shot, and I think the PS5 though really accentuates it.
Yeah,
because I think it was like brewing, a storm was brewing. I don't know.
The water looks very nice on the PS5 there as well.
It did, yeah, and I couldn't get that the same because it rained literally just as I was about to take the shot, and I'm like, you're kidding me. And like in Far Cry, the days, because you can't zip forward time, the days literally last for about, I think it's 40 minutes or 45 minutes.
Oh wow,
it's crazy.
The lighting.
So, yeah, I wasn't.
Sorry, I was just going to say the lighting on the Series S looks lovely there. Like,
yeah,
that's I'm quite impressed with that.
I'm actually quite impressed with the lighting across the board. The Xbox One X looks great as well there.
Yeah,
and yeah, look, and this is a good example. The PS5, like, I haven't really got a chance to show the proper kind of the puddles and stuff, and the PS5 really shows that off.
Yeah, you can see the little ripples going across from the wind there. It looks like they've done some really cool stuff with, weather and wind effects and stuff like that. I mean, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because there's obviously there's a big sort of difference in terms of resolution, in terms of frame rate, in terms of effects across all three, but it seems like, no matter what console you're playing on, even if you're going back to, Xbox One, PS4...
I mean... Yeah, but you still notice a difference. Like, look at the PS4, like the trees, two palm trees on the right. Like, the draw distance on the PS4 and the PS4 Pro isn't great, but obviously you get to the PS5, and that's when you see the kind of better resolutions.
Yeah.
Like, you can see it perfectly now. You can almost see the checker mark on the palm tree. Whereas, obviously, it's the draw distance, it's too far away, and it's almost the anti-aliasing and stuff like that.
But I think we've hit a weird point in terms of sort of next-gen, current-gen consoles where, a lot of last gen stuff is sort of getting left behind, or it's not an ideal version to play. But it does seem here like no matter what you're playing on, you're going to get a decent experience. Like, it doesn't seem like they've focused on next gen console at the expense of the Xbox One and the PS4.
No, for sure. But I feel like Series X and the PS5, it's not the upper echelons of like what we're seeing from these powerful consoles. But then again, we haven't really looked at open world games in this kind of light, so it's like you can't really weigh up an open world game against something linear like Akena or Akina. We still haven't worked out how we say that. But look at the Xbox One X. That shot is gorgeous.
That is very nice. Yeah, it's a lot crisper than the Pro, and it doesn't look that different from the Series X. Like, you've got to assume it's just frame rate between them almost.
It does if you're looking on a 4K monitor, Matt. I assume that you're not.
No, I'm not. But it's just the little details as well is impressive, and the fact that it still looks like a step up from the PS4 Pro is quite impressive.
Yeah, so I'm looking on a 5K monitor, and you can see it. And obviously, if you're watching this video and you're watching it at 1080, you don't see any difference. But if you watch it on 4K on a 4K screen, you can actually see. Like, it's incremental. It's not massive. It's not a massive leap. But again, you're getting the 60 FPS as well as the better visuals.
Do you reckon this will be the last sort of like Ubisoft open world game that we'll see across both generations of consoles? I mean, when the next Far Cry comes along, do you reckon that'll just be sort of PS5 and Series X? Because that'll be interesting to see how much of a step up that is there.
I think we're in a weird situation now, because I feel like a lot of developers would want to leave the PS4 and the Xbox One and the Xbox One S behind, but the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro are still powerful. So, like, they can still pretty much deliver. They're going to be able to deliver experiences for another couple of years.
Yeah,
high level, but
you can't develop for those without developing for the base Xbox One and the base PS4,
exactly.
And then are you being held back in terms of what you can do on those ones? So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, it definitely feels like this was designed with the limitations of Xbox One and PS4 in mind, and because of that, it runs, perfectly well on those consoles. And then everything above that, when you go to the One X, when you go to the Series X, the PS4 Pro, and the PS5, is adding stuff to that. It's adding more foliage, it's adding more
and
frame
more crabs.
Rate. Yeah, more crabs. I know, those are great.
But on the one hand, the PS5 had the crabs in that scene, and the Series X, a couple of shots back, is just down the road from there, and that had the flamingos. So,
okay.
It's flamingos or crabs. It's not. It's just random.
That's the console war. The
console
year.
war.
Flamingos versus
Series
crabs.
X has more flamingos.
That's the headline.
Has more crabs.
Yeah.
PS5 has crabs. I mean, that's not something that we want to be spreading around.
No, that's some Xbox propaganda. That is.
Yeah, but as you can see, it looks decent.
It does not look bad, by any stretch of the imagination. And I mean, it looks comparable to what I remember things like Far Cry 4 looking like, which are obviously sort of built for PS4 and Xbox One the same way this is. And then you just get those. You're getting that 4K sort of boost here on the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, and then properly all the way up to 4K 60 on Series X and PS5.
Yeah, and to finish, because everyone's going to go, which one's better? I've done a 1000% zoom, Matt, and you're about to see it on a sign. And I'll tell you what, I can't tell.
No, neither can I.
People can discuss that one in the comments, but I do think this is the closest the two versions have been in terms of visuals. There are slight different colour palettes because of the weather, but the actual detail and everything, I can't really tell the difference, Matt.
No, neither can I, which is not exactly where you want to end on for a comparison, but it's good. It's good to see that no matter where you're playing, you're getting a good experience. It
doesn't matter where you buy it. I don't know what the game's like. I haven't got that far. I've done this comparison. But no matter where you buy it, you're going to get a good experience.
Yeah.
Comparatively against the other consoles.
Yeah, which is good to see.
So there you have it. Yeah. Far Cry, it's out tomorrow, isn't it?
Yes, it is out tomorrow.
Yeah, it's out tomorrow. Far Cry 6 out tomorrow. Thanks for watching, folks. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Thanks very much. Cheers, folks. Bye.
Bye.